I'm grateful for Father Vince's invitation to join you all today to celebrate Mass. I was ordained 2 weekends ago, I think. I've lost track of time already. At the cathedral in Albany as a priest, and I'll be serving starting on Monday at Our Lady of Victory Church in Troy for the foreseeable future. But I hope you know how much it means to me to be here today with you all, and how beautiful it was to be with you last summer. When I first came, I think there was some social gathering over there the first weekend or the second weekend, and somebody came up to me and said, "I hope you know this is the party parish." I was happy with that. But this place really is a community, and I experienced that. And it is in part about community that Jesus speaks to the apostles when he sends them out today. The gospel says that Jesus resolutely determined to go to Jerusalem. Resolutely determined because Jesus realized what was in Jerusalem. Jesus realized that when he went there, he was going to die. But he sent messengers. He sent groups of his apostles and disciples out in front of him to prepare the way. He sent them together in groups. He sent them with each other. The gospel today, through a series of sort of vignettes about the encounters that the disciples have along their way, preparing for Jesus, give us 3 characteristics of what the life of the disciples, our life, is supposed to be like. It's total. It can be a little destabilizing. And this life leads us to the Lord. Total, destabilizing, and for the Lord. If you can't remember that, just think of the easy acronym to the Lord, and you'll remember. You'll never forget. The life of discipleship is total. The gospel is set up to contrast with the first reading. In the first reading, Elisha asks the prophet he's joining, Elijah, "Can I go and say goodbye to my parents before I join you?" And Elijah says, "Yeah, sure, fine. Take care of whatever you need to take care of before you come." And somebody asks the same exact question to Jesus, and Jesus says, "No, you can't. You have to come with me now." That's intense. Jesus says, "You can't take care of your family, and you have to come follow me now." He tells that to one of the disciples to illustrate that when God calls us, it surpasses every kind of responsibility that we have. Sometimes, often it leads us deeper into the responsibilities that we have in our daily life. But sometimes it pulls us out of them to things that we thought were important, to lead us toward things that are actually more important. It's total. It's also can be a little destabilizing. Jesus says that everyone else in the world has a place to lie down at night, but the Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. I graduated from seminary maybe 5 or 6 weeks ago, and many of my classmates were ordained right after that and started their parish assignments almost immediately after that. But I've had a large period of time, which was really beautiful. I was able to take extra retreat and rest and pray and spend time with friends before ordination. But I haven't slept in my own bed in a long time, to the fact that I'm not actually sure what my own bed is anymore. I'll be starting at Our Lady of Victory on Monday, but my classmate, Father Kyle, and I, who was also just ordained in Albany, have been reflecting that we have not lived in one single place for a whole straight year since high school. I'm really ready to settle down somewhere. But I've experienced this, and this has kind of been my chorus over the last couple of months. The Son of Man has nowhere to lay his head. Because the Son of Man, Jesus, was not fully home until he brought his children home with him, us, to the Father. That's what he needs to be content, to be satisfied. Total, destabilizing. and it's for the Lord. Maybe the best way to put that our lives are for the Lord, is the response we sang in the psalm. You are, O God, my inheritance. I have all I need. That in this life Jesus has called us to, he's not asking us to go running all over the place, looking for extra things, trying to get this done or that done. He wants us to be here now with him, because he is all we need. And maybe this is what I do. I make checklists of everything I need to do in my life, and I think when I finish this checklist, I'll be happy, I'll be done, and then I can rest. And usually what happens is I make the checklist, I finish it, and then as soon as I do, I think, yes, I finished this checklist, I will be happy, I throw it in the garbage, and then I start a new checklist. And I say, when I finish this checklist, then I'll be happy. But that's not it. When the Lord is our inheritance, when we recognize that he is our portion and our cup, we have all we need. It can be a little bit of an examination of conscience for us. Where are our lives right now? How are we living? Are we putting God first? Is the way that we put God first leading us to love the people he's put into our life? I'll just share with you this little reflection written a couple of years ago by someone I never met, an alumna at the University of Notre Dame where I went to college. She graduated in 2016, I think, and she wrote these words. What are our relationships like with friends and family? Do we strive to treat them with the love and patience that God would have? Are we spending enough quality time with God in prayer and quality time with others? Is prayer time pushed aside until bedtime when we are overwhelmed with school, work, or other activities? Instead of despairing with the thought that we have no time, we simply need to create time intentionally and to include God throughout our day with more constant communication. The gospel is a great wake-up call to be more disciplined and wise in our everyday life. We need to prepare. I don't want to be too serious, but I do want to share with you that that woman, Katerina Goitz, was killed in a car accident this week. So I just ask you to join with me in praying for her at Mass today. She was, from all accounts, a really beautiful and a good and a holy young woman. She graduated from Notre Dame in 2016. She studied Chinese and business economics. Some of us, with the things we studied in college, had to go get a master's degree in theology, come work in a parish. She didn't have to do that. She could have made a lot of money, and she decided to get a master's degree in theology, and she was working as a high school youth minister in Texas. So just her words really echoed with me this week that we need to prepare. We need to be ready because the Lord is calling us today. And that's a thing of joy. I'm really grateful for the opportunity to be with you all here today. Our journeys can lead us on so many different places, to so many different places, on so many different mini journeys within our journey. And it was so good to get to be with you all last summer, to pray with you, get to know you, to celebrate with you. I'm especially grateful for Brian and for the choir who are here today. The Lord is calling us now. And what he's calling us to would be despairing or difficult or too much if it weren't the case that he loves us and cares for us individually, particularly at every moment. And he cares for us by giving us his body and his blood today. Let's be prepared.